All right. Yeah, I was thinking about, can you imagine being one of the shepherds that night? You know, kind of the lowliest of the lowly, the kind of the bottom of the social economic scale in Palestine, and to be greeted with such a powerful message and an opportunity to be able to understand that the Messiah is now with you. And you have been invited to go to that manger and see for yourself and then share that good news with those around you. What a powerful, powerful experience that must have been over 2,000 years ago. I wonder what actually happened to the shepherds after that, but their life had to have been transformed in some sort of powerful, powerful way when they recognized that the Prince of Peace had been born and they had an opportunity to see it and reconfirm it to the parents and to those around them. Over 2,000 years ago. But in truth, even this evening, as we are celebrating Christmas Eve in a very different way, a way that we could never have even imagined a year ago, we have gone through a lot of challenging times, but we have also gone through a period of time where we've seen some silver lining in it as well. But in any event, this evening, even though we can't physically be together, spiritually, we are. The Spirit knows no bounds in time or space. And that same spiritual energy that impacted those shepherds in Palestine over 2,000 years ago, that same energy is flowing right into our hearts and minds tonight. You see, we're connected. We're connected to the shalom that began thousands of years ago, that comes into our hearts and minds today, and that sets the stage for a new future. We are part of that story. And why tonight we celebrate the birth of Christ, the Messiah, the Mashiach. We also have an opportunity to celebrate the birth of Christ in our own hearts and minds. Because you see, we are the hands and feet of the Messiah. Each one of us is profoundly gifted, profoundly sacred, and filled with the potential to take that peace, experience it within ourselves, and to share it with the world. And as we share it with the world, to open our hearts and minds to be ministered to as well. It's an opportunity for us to set a whole new stage for ourselves, for our families, and for the world around us. That this peace, comprised of compassion, mercy, justice, and forgiveness, this peace is something that we can experience and we can share. And as we do, we give birth to a Christ over and over and over again. The reason for this season, my friends, is to reconfirm that birth within our own hearts and minds and to dedicate ourselves to sharing the peace that Jesus gave to us. I'm reminded of a book I read a few years back. It was called The Fred Factor. Maybe you're familiar with it. Fred was a mail carrier in Denver, and he retired, I think, 2014. He's still with us, but Fred was a guy, he served the same community or the same neighborhood for over 30 years. And Fred realized that he did more than just deliver the mail, you see. To Fred, it was a mission, it was a ministry, not only to deliver the mail that connected people in a variety of different ways, but also that he, as the mail carrier, connected to each household in that neighborhood. He got to know them. He got to understand their own life stories. He found other ways to, in a sense, be of service to them, depending on the situation. He shared a boundless energy and love and commitment to the people in this neighborhood. And he continued to deliver the mail as a way of connecting people in a powerful, powerful way. And what happened through Fred's example, this example of God working through him to be good news, you see, it impacted all of the people in that neighborhood. They came to recognize that there was a new opportunity and a new hope, and there was a new way to see the world, a world that had promise and potential beyond the wildest imagination. Fred, as a mail carrier, carried this message of peace and hope to a whole variety of people. You see, each one of us can be a Fred. Each one of us can let that Spirit of God that works through us transform ourselves and the world around us. We become that Christmas gift. It's all within the possibility, as long as we open our hearts and our minds and recognize that in spite of the challenges of our life, there's so much each one of us may have to offer. And that's a powerful good news message. I recognize a year ago at this time, I was delivering a sermon, a worship service at a nursing facility, Wellbridge in Fenton. And it's something we did every year. We did the Christmas service and we did an Easter service. And something happened as I was looking at the group of people. There's like about 50 residents in wheelchairs, and I was looking at them and I was thinking about this type of a message that I'm trying to deliver this evening. And I don't know, it's something came upon me, maybe a moment of inspiration. Maybe occasionally a blind squirrel gets a nut, and that's kind of how I felt, like something popped, and I looked at the people and I said, I recognize that you think your best years are behind you. And in truth, they probably are. You really don't want to be here, but you're going to be probably spending your last days here. And each one of you has come here for a variety of different reasons, and each one of you has this story to tell. But let me tell you, I know you're all faithful people. And what I want to say is, as long as there is life, there's hope. And as long as you have the breath of life in you, you have an opportunity to serve others. It never ends until the breath of life leaves you. And so I invite you and I encourage you to recognize that you have meaning. And right now, the most important meaning you might have is to serve your caregivers, to ask them, how are they doing? To pray for them, to encourage them, to engage with them, to change the whole frame and focus of your life. And the interesting thing about this was, it was a gift that when I said the words, I could not have expected a more powerful response. I got, the people were nodding, They were smiling. They recognized that, yes, this is possible. And little did I know when I delivered those words that in a few months the world would totally change, that there was going to be a shutdown, and the caregivers and the care receivers would be living together in a very powerful way. But you see, folks, here's the thing. As long as we have life, we have hope. As long as we have life, we become hope. And we all have this opportunity to see the sacredness of life all around us and the possibilities to connect and to engage and to celebrate the birth of new life every day. And for this opportunity, this profound gift that began for us a few thousand years ago, for this we give great thanks. Amen, and Merry Christmas.